brought to you by Barber Behavioral Health, a service of Barber National Institute.
We're welcoming in today Corey Edwards from Barber Behavioral Health. She's Rapid Response Team Coordinator. And today it's an interesting topic. We're talking about children who kind of get ejected from a preschool or a daycare situation and the impact that that could have on them, the family, etc. It sounds hard to believe, but it does happen.
Yes, it does. It happens actually more often than it does in a K through 12 school setting. Children are more frequently expelled from a daycare or a preschool program.
And do you find this happens more in the summertime when kids are enrolled in like a summer daycare or it can happen all year round?
Not typically. There really are a lot of different factors as to why a child gets expelled, and those happen year round.
Okay. And when that happens, is there any kind of work with the parents to prevent that from happening? Like maybe some red flags, some warnings, here's what we're seeing, here's how we might be able to prevent that? Or does it come as just a surprise? We're done with your child here.
So I think that a lot of times this is a child's first experience with peers and maybe not always having an adult available, and it's the first time that we might notice some developmental delays or the first time that they interact in a way that is free. And when they don't have those skills and they don't know how to do that yet, sometimes it catches us off guard a little bit. I think our child cares in this area are excellent as far as trying to keep the children in their program, but at the end of the day, they do need to keep the environment safe.
Exactly.
And they need to keep that child safe.
So what could be the impact if a child is expelled from a daycare or preschool setting? What kind of impact does that have on a child?
So for children, we've seen a lot of studies done showing that the impact on them socially, emotionally, and their long-term mental health are affected into adulthood. So there are connections with expulsion at a pre-K level that tie into higher prison rates and things like that. So it really does have a long-term effect. And then also, if the child care is providing care for a child whose parents are working, you're now looking at a family who's being isolated at home. They cannot go to work. We're looking at an employer who has lost their employee because this mother or father or aunt or grandparent has to now stay home with this child and cannot continue doing what
So what's a parent to do if they find themselves in this situation?
So there are a lot of supports available, and early intervention, there's behavioral health, there's early child mental health services, there's also support available for the child care centers, and it's a lot of supports that aren't always easy to access or know who to call. So after this segment, I believe there will be a little thing that will pop up, and if you call that number, we can connect you to the person in our area that can help you.
I find that interesting too. Also support for the child care center who probably has to make this tough decision that they don't want to make. They want to have to be made.
I've seen it happen over and over, and I've never seen a child care center happy to do this. They really don't want to.
And really, at the end of the day, ultimately it's not the child's fault. There's an issue that needs addressed.
Correct.
In this situation.
And sometimes it's just maybe speech. Maybe this child has a little bit of a hard time communicating, and some early intervention to help them communicate with their peers and ask to play would be enough to help them get their behaviors a little bit more.
Great advice. And again, there's that number there. If it's a great place to start, if you have any questions about maybe some experiences that your children are having in that early educational or daycare situation.
And that's what's nice about Barber Behavioral Health. There are so many ways to support or to offer support for the community. So that's the place to start, that number there. But Corey, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
All of this.
We're going to send it over to John to see what's trending today in weather.